gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode here at Rebuttal. We are in the semi-final category for the senior debaters, and joining us we have Nova Pioneer Tatu Boys and Ngina Girls High School. Their motion of their section reads: strengthening local economies is more important than participating in global markets for developing countries like Kenya. And with the motion of their section again: strengthening local economies is more important than participating in global markets for developing countries like Kenya. All the best. You will teach take a position by speaker. You have 3 minutes.
Three, two, one, go. Ladies and gentlemen, before those words, there was a single issue. That's why I asked you the position, strongly believe in motion, that strengthening local economies is more important than participating in global markets of developing countries. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that before our forest comes about, we need to emphasize on the single issue. First and foremost, the tree needs to grow, the tree needs to be nurtured, the tree needs to be fed, and the tree needs to what? Have space for its development. That's how we talk about forest. And in this case, we need to develop first and foremost in our local economies before we actually branch out into one of the global markets. And that's why we need this motion. First and foremost, for our key terms, strengthening local economies. What is this? This enhancing economic activities within our community, like supporting local businesses and infrastructure. What exactly is the context of this motion? It is to self-reliance, job creation, and poverty reduction in developing countries. They are not participating in global markets. What exactly is this? This is engaging in international trade for an economic activity. Of course, the context of this motion. But now I believe that by us participating in global markets, we are going to get access to new technology, yes, in markets, but we're going to gain dependency and vulnerability to global shock. Why? Because we're not taking time to develop our very own global economy, our very own global economy. Why? Because we're focused on very much the global state that we have ourselves and we're very to that. So now we're going to status quo in our modern organization. Ladies and gentlemen, agriculture and food security. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, in Kenya alone, agriculture accounts for 33% of Kenya's GDP. 33%, ladies and gentlemen. What does this mean? This means provides jobs to over 40% of the Kenyan people. 40%. So I ask you not to focus on our own development of this sector so already doing so much. We're missing out on our whole package of development, but what is really a backbone of our country's economy. So we should focus on improving this sector so to increase what? To increase the amount of jobs, to increase our level of output, and to increase our country's GDP. Then I'll tell you how economic resilience and industrialization. It's a United Nations Conference on Trade Development. It's that our economy is vulnerable to what? Global market fluctuations, especially in our reliance. What does this mean? It's just aware that once we, let's say, harvest our berries, and then we buy them out of the big process. How funny. We sell the raw material, but then we buy a more expensive processed material. This is what is being reliant on them exactly because we instead of us selling our local products or our products when they're still half baked, we should focus on developing our technology so they have the capacity to add value to this product so we sell the finished product, right? We're able to make more profit on margin, and that's what the country we're able to grow, we're able to control and also make more jobs, which is by doing this, what of your poverty? Because by us making this industry creating bigger industries for us to process these foods, we're going to create jobs. We're focusing on education, number one, poverty eradication. Just at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we have employment and informal sector. Ladies and gentlemen, understand that in Kenya alone, the informal sector is so large, right? The locally industry employs over millions of people in Kenya. So by us doing what focus on this and other focus on just doing international trade, we are going to only deny people and say that we're going to develop, right? Because these people are the ones who are mostly backing up our country's economy, right? Because people are working and paying taxes. By us doing focus on just savings, we're not on our magnitude of development opportunities. That's why it is very nice that before we focus on the knowledge and learn, we understand that we need to focus on the achievement to develop our very own economies for branch the global markets.
But anyway, moving on swiftly, I think it has been established beyond a shadow of a doubt by the African Analyst Report of 6 July 2019 and the UN,
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the smoke that counts. And I stand before you to show that this side has failed to understand and grasp the motion. In fact, they have made us lies. And the first thing I'd like to start off, the first speaker came on stage and actually talked about how from outside we don't focus on exportation. But this, we clearly stated by our first speaker, they have mischaracterized the motion. When we say we are not living in a landlocked country, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that we can export, but the main key thing in order to achieve our goal is focusing on local industries. Which now takes me to my first point, which is economic resilience and stability. Under this, we have volatility and job creation. What do I mean by volatility? If we're actually able to focus on our local industries, it makes us less dependent on exports and makes us less dependent on global markets. What does this mean? If there's an economic recession, ladies and gentlemen, we can actually able to survive and thrive. And people's jobs will actually be kept, which takes me to the second thing, job creation. Focusing on local industries allows us to actually create jobs. Now, let me give you a real life example. In the agricultural sector, in Kerry 2018, the government was actually able to diversify this area since because in Kerry they plant tea. However, not only did they take this to the next level, they were able to incorporate over plantation. What did this actually do? It created new jobs. What did this actually do? It employed people, which from our side feels like an accomplishment. In fact, a statistics that was done by the World Bank in 2021 so that 34% of Kenya's GDP, 34% of Kenya's GDP is driven by agriculture. This is important because I emphasize what the past people say. In fact, over 40% of our workforce has been employed due to agriculture. It takes me to my second point, inclusive economic growth and poverty reduction. Why is this important? Because if we're actually able to reduce inequality, we are solving SDG number 10, which is reduce inequality. On top of that, it enables us to support for local industries and reducing dependency. What do I mean by reducing inequality? If you're able to focus your industries or localize them, it gives the people who are living in poor areas a chance. It gives the people who are living in poor areas a chance to be employed. This brings an economic balance of the classes. Now, a good example that was done in 2015 by Kenya, Build Kenya, was a government initiative. And what happened? Basically, this policy was led by the government, which encouraged the Kenyan people to actually buy stuff in the local economy. What this actually do, it led to an amazing boost, and in fact, it reduced the poverty rate. No, it led to an amazing boost in our country's GDP. Now, I stand here giving you statistics, real life example, and clearly flash and show that this side completely does not understand the motion. It was yours truly, the smoke that counts, is at all. Thank you.
As our first speaker had spoken, I talked about supporting our local markets. But ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't we be able to do more of an effective job if we had enough capital to do so? If we were able to access enough funds to be able to fund all of our local businesses. You see, as a developing country, we do not have the luxury to start saying that one is more important than the other, that we should strengthen our local markets or instead participating in our global markets. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we as a developing country, our simple and our only goal here today is just to develop. And ladies and gentlemen, both strengthening our local markets and participating in global markets does enough for us. None is more important than the other. You see, they are like each other's missing puzzle pieces. Think about it, for instance, accessing capital and investment by participating in
generate about 1.4 billion Kenyan shillings. Ladies and gentlemen, not only that, but in tourism we are able to earn 2.1 billion and the residents earns about 3.8 billion in Central Bank of Kenya. These are all funds that could be able to generate our economy, could be able to uplift our local economies by fixing our foundation. They need each other. None is more important than the other. We are helping each other by holding each other's hands and building a strong foundation to be able to strengthen our country and be able to for it to gain and be able to develop. That is the main goal of why we are doing this. That is the main goal of why we want to participate or to strengthen our local markets. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Angelica and I'm here to strongly oppose the motion that states strengthening local economies is more important than participating in global markets. Thank you very much.
Both teams have been tasked with their team's questions. For team proposition, they be asked, how do we strengthen failing economies without alternative sources of income? For team opposition, they be asked, how do we address the issue of over-reliance on developed countries, which leads to exploitation? Team proposition, third speaker, you have 3 minutes.
Today I started a final speaker of key proposition to do something simple and to show you why this side has got the debate right from the first speaker down to the last speaker. First, they mischaracterize the motion by assuming that for some reason on our side we will not be able to change for the partner. No, what I'm saying is that we should prioritize local economies, meaning that even before we need to change these global partners, we should prioritize when we come out with that product that we so wish to trade. They came and told us about the power of for the European market. I'm asking this question. If we don't have the local infrastructure, those power, those greenhouses, where will this power from? Who will it happen? You're simply agreeing with us that we need to prioritize these global economies first before we even consider going out to the global market. They also came and asked us a question. How do we strengthen the economy without attracting source of income? Let me educate you. We know trade is not the only source of income our country can get, especially the developing one. We have one like the IMF, the international monetary which provides those to develop countries. We also have one like the United Nations, which provides grants for development which are in goals. So we have so many other sources of income other than trade. And finally, we have global markets. Yes, you and I. What we can do is when we prioritize global economies, we increase the number of jobs we increase the amount of income each individual is getting, meaning our local economy can sustain itself even without the influence of external partners. Now, why do they do this? They envision a world where we have over exploitation, where we have over-reliance global markets to economic fluctuation. They came and said that how will we access that? They came and said that global markets has access to our investment, but this is only possible after the global economy. But we come and give you hope. We told you that by strengthening the global economy is what happens. We have economic resilience and stability. Yes, because we mitigate the global market volatility. History is like a classroom. If you don't learn from it, you will definitely fail. And you tend to repeat and repeat again. You do not believe you had a crisis. Yes, an economic crisis. Now, unlike other countries in South Africa with job losses and electricity going down, we had India's economy actually grew by 6.7% from 2008 to 2009, according to the IMF of studies from 2010. By 6.7% grew. How? Well, it had strong local demand and less global demand. This was a country that emphasized on diversifying its local economy, and the authority was able to withstand this economic shock. And yes, it is still our leading trade part of the global market today, meaning we can still have new trade in the global market, but only if we emphasize on the economy. We also came into the market inclusive economic growth and poverty reduction. Right? We told that we create jobs for our side. You see, global SMEs account for about 70% of the jobs in Kenya. These are not the Kenyan people statistics. 70% local jobs, in almost 10% of the job. So what happens when you emphasize the sector? You get something like multiply effect because you have higher income. When you have higher income, you have higher spending. Higher spending means higher government revenue. This government revenue goes to public service, it goes to the social services, and it goes to the development infrastructure which allows you to trade competitively on a global scale. Those see it's a distribution of benefits. It's like the big 4 agenda in Kenya, which prioritize affordable housing, manufacturing, universal healthcare, and education. Points such as this show you that when we prioritize local economies, we not only become a superpower on the global market, but even within our own local economies. And now, as I end my speech, I'd like to end with a quote from Art. The future depends on what we do in the present, and the best way to predict the future is to come with the future proposition.
How do we address the issue of over-reliance on developed countries, which can lead to over-exploitation? For us to be exploited, for us to even rely on these developed countries, we would not have established ourselves in the global market. You talk of loans from the IMF. Isn't that because of our economical status and our participation in the global market? I mean, how else would they know that we are suitable enough to provide funds to? Today we stand at a pivotal juncture in our journey towards economic prosperity. The question before us is not merely about choosing between participating in global markets or strengthening global economies, but rather understanding how these two elements are intertwined and essential for our development. Allow me to make the case that for developing countries like Kenya to participate, for developing countries like Kenya, participating in the global market is not an option. It is imperative. Consider the global market as an expansive ocean, and our economy is just as rivers feeding into it. The ocean represents a vast expanse of opportunity and resources. By participating in this global ocean, we are not only tapping into immense economic potential, but also ensuring that our local rivers are enriched and empowered. To be enriched and empowered, we need our rivers to flow into this ocean. The only reason we are even strengthening our local economies is so that we can participate in a global market. That is what is important. Not just because we begin by strengthening our local market. Just because we begin by strengthening our local market doesn't mean it is important. The goal is to participate in a global market. The one that highlights that Kenya receives approximately 1.7 billion in foreign direct investment as of the FDI in 2022, something local investments achieve after double the investment time. So are we really stating that for a developing country to get developed, to get promoted, to progress, is to participate in a local economy that is slow, that is tiring, that is gruesome, that is cumbersome? Why are we even considering this? So as I stand and debate on why the obvious should be done, we need to build a robust economy, an economic foundation on the global stage. Then we can create the capacity to reinvest in our local markets, ensuring development. Shakespeare once wrote, all the world's a stage, and we all merely players. Just as each player in the world contributes to the larger play, so too does our participation in global markets contribute to the larger narrative of economic stability. Stability and growth, not just for Kenya, but for developing countries as stated by the motion, including Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, India, South Africa. Just as each player plays a role contributes to the larger play. So beyond strengthening our local economies, the overall goal, the most important is to participate in a global market. Because if charity begins at home, then what's charity for anyways? Thank you.
I am waiting. I am sorry. I will bring you until you give me exactly what you want. Ladies and gentlemen, team opposition, fail to understand is that by us playing with global space right now, you're going to be independent. And at this moment, we are not capable of us coming and saying, why? Because we're definitely weaker economically, and our products are not even yet finalized up to the final products. We're already importing things to export. We are exporting coffee and then we're importing it after it's certified. Does it really make sense? It doesn't. So you know, it's going for, let's say, this negotiation, we're not going to about the other countries. Why? Because they have a say, because they are more developed. That's why we as people first and foremost prioritize our local economy so as we can be able to grow. Ladies and gentlemen, from their side, they are finding a station number 10 because of increasing inequality. Why? Because they're never going to be, we're going to only remain become what? Developing country. Because ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, we need to understand that they're giving us temporary solutions, which means that we are going to need the poorest of the poorest countries. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, from their side, first and foremost, we're going into a space for you to let's say the global market of ourselves to get developed to me. We are not understanding our products. But then on our side, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try into a space after we have specialized for our very own products. This means that given the products that we're talking about, we have to ensure that we have the necessary facilities to really produce them in surplus, but we are going to increase the amount that we are earning as a country. So ladies and gentlemen, on our side, we have to increase jobs, we have to increase earnings, and at the same time, we are equal. Why? Because we are able to increase our say or our power in this negotiation. We're not just going to be a developing country, rather we're going to become a developing country. Let's understand, ladies and gentlemen, by outside the proposition, we are going to bring a pastor to the table.
I will have some pasta, go house down. That is exactly what deep proposition is and global market is. Contrary to that, a global market is where goods, services, and labor are exchanged throughout the entire world, and a real global market requires product and service standardization so that goods and services can move around according to global markets. An overview of 25 July last year. And I said in the beginning, I concur that it is important to develop our goods, it's important to develop our local market. It is more important than people because I genuinely believe that there is equal importance to strengthen our participation in global markets because, like you said, we are exporting them fine to where? We are developing our greenhouses to make flowers and take them to where? We are trying to increase our labor so that we can go and work where? We are trying to develop ourselves as a local economy so we can be part of a global market. Like I said, exchange of services, goods and labor. Goods, the flowers you grew in the greenhouse can only help you when they get to the global market. The students we are taking to university for engineering will help us when we get to the global market. My name is Baraza from Baraza.
Great debate from both teams shows why both of you deserve to be at this stage. You are the semis, representing your different regions, and you've done good to the justice in the motion. I'll go straight into it. Nova Pioneer, Eddie Francis, you came in with a very good start even before you gave us your definitions. This was able to hook us, we were able to be hooked to your submissions. Then you came in and gave in your definitions and an angle and the angle that your team is taking. We talked about creating new markets. When you create new markets in the global market, you can actually hinder the growth of the local one, which was okay. Then now you went on to give all these other examples where you talked about the culture and gave statistics. And for me, you as a great communicator, as a great debater on stage, I love the way that you even use your gestures, the stage presence, the communication, the collaboration. That was very good. And then the way you were able to blend in a couple of points even after that, the over-reliance. Then at the end of your submissions, you were able to push in the last point to do with the Juakali sector. Also for your conclusion, that was a very powerful conclusion. However, you are slightly penalized for overuse of time. Israel Tola, you came in and you are able now to continue with the narrative. For you, the most amazing thing from me is that you are very organized. I could see point 1, 2, 3 as they flow. Talk about economic resilience and volatility, less dependence on exports, job creation. We talk about inclusive economic growth and poverty reduction. I could see the flow of points, so I could be able to run with you. So after we look at the coherency of argument, then you have that confidence that you and passion that we see on stage. That was very good of you. Kerry Amani, you came in as well, very strong debater. You started with a rebut, talking about the issue of you are, even as we strengthen local economies, it does not mean that you are not planning to trade in the global market, which is a good point. Then you answered the question well, and went on to give on your points on mitigating market volatility. In fact, went on to support the narrative that now your teammates have talked about, which is good. You also gave a very good example on India, and finally you were slightly penalized for overuse of time.
A round of applause please for both teams on stage. We'll go straight to the judges' results. The judges have awarded Nova Pioneer Tatu Boys with 68.4%. A round of applause please for Nova Pioneer Tatu Boys. And the judges have awarded Ngina Girls with 67.3%. A round of applause please for Ngina Girls School. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of yet another episode here at the Debate Circle. Remember to check our social media handles for more of this content. That's at the Debate Circle across all our social media platforms. I have been your host, Gina Cheng, and until next time, it's goodbye from us.